7 dieting disasters. 1 diet with 1 rule.
We've got to stick to 1,200 calories a day.
1 supermarket stocked with food packed in 100-calorie portions. And 1 goal, to drop a dress size.
Listen, girls, we've got to get these up in 14 days.
This is the show that demystifies dieting and gives it to you straight in 100-calorie portions. Tonight, there's just 4 days of the diet left and we're banning the booze.
We had 15 glasses of white wine, equivalent to 1,360 calories.
That's only 2 glasses of wine a day.
And it's the final push. Have we managed to drop a dress size in just 2 weeks? To keep us motivated, low-calorie food lover Matt Dawson treats us to a roasting.
It's what we all dream about at the weekend, a Sunday roast.
Yes!
Come on!
Plus, we meet the priest who's addicted to cola.
I absolutely love this amber nectar as it cascades over the ice.
And I speak to the US insider who's blowing the whistle on junk food.
We now know that fat and sugar can stimulate the brain's neural circuitry like amphetamine and cocaine.
Ladies, wave goodbye to your wobbly waist, 'cause it's the final countdown on
My big, fat diet show. Hands up, I'm a serial dieter and I have tried every diet going. And if there's one thing I've learned, you can forget the fads, the gimmicks and the gadgets. There's only one way to lose weight, and that is to cut the calories.
But I'm a firm believer in safety and numbers, and dieting along with me are Josie, Gail, Debbie, Bev, Pam and Lizzie. They are the Dieting Divas. They get together at Josie's Chalfont St Peter's salon, but these girls don't just like to be pampered, they love to party too.
I think I would be size 0 if I didn't have a social life.
We're so bad, aren't we? You could come round to me and say, no, I'm not drinking tonight. I go, go on, just a little one. You go, all right then, bottle of red wine later.
We've learnt a lot about healthy eating, and it's not just about counting calories, it's also about re-educating our taste buds so that we can learn to kick those naughty habits for good.
And over the last 10 days, we've gone without ready meals, salty snacks and sweet treats, and learned to love the fresh alternatives. Now on day 11 of the diet, we knew it was coming, enforced prohibition as booze is banned. From today, there are no offers on wines, beers and spirits in R1. White wine's off limits at just over 1 small glass, as is red at 147 millilitres for 100 calories. Gin's in the sin bin at just under 2 shots. And the Irish cream's gone at just over a measure for 100 calories. Lager's also canned at just under half a pint for 100 calories. We all filled in food diaries the week before the diet. Now all that booze has been added up, and we're going to find out how much we drank in calories.
I think it's fair to say that the week before we started this diet, when we filled out our food diaries, we kind of overdid it a little bit with the booze. I don't even look at this.
Oh my God!
We had 15 glasses of white wine, equivalent to 1,360 calories.
Over a week, there's just over 2 glasses, isn't it? Which is so easily done.
Who had rum and mixer in their food diary?
Did I?
I only have one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm scared.
10 glasses! 10 glasses, 1,860 calories, equivalent to 15 cupcakes. I can't believe
outrageous. I can't believe that.
that. Red wine. Oh, I do like a red wine.
I had red wine that week.
Yes, we all have a glass of red. In fact, according to our food diaries, we had 30 between us in the week leading up to the diet.
We actually had 2,550 calories between us, equivalent to 22 slices of pizza.
I think because you're not chewing, you don't feel like it's got calories. Because you're drinking rather than chewing.
True.
I look at it like it's like drinking water. Yeah. I do.
Alcohol equals calories, empty calories, a lot of empty calories.
Yes.
I'm almost too scared to pull off the last one. This is the champagne and the carver.
Oh, and I had loads that week.
And guess what?
Oh, God. 75 glasses. Oh, my God.
We actually had between us in just 1 week 13,375 calories in booze.
Oh, dear.
And is it any wonder they've banned it?
For more information about the hidden calories in your favourite tipple and for the full 14-day diet plan, head to our website, channel4.com/food. Father Bill Haymaker lives on the Sussex coast.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
He's a larger-than-life character who's loved by the locals.
Who looks better with the collar, me or him?
He looks after the community and 3 orphanages in Eastern Europe. But the long hours and travelling take their toll and drive him to drink. Father Bill is addicted to cola.
To take that little private break of your own. It can be Coke, it can be Pepsi, it can be any brand. It just has to be the cola. Is that as good for you as it was for me?
He pours himself a staggering 2 litres a day.
Oh, that's lovely. Listen.
And the way it's served has to be just so.
Listen to that. And look how those amber colours cascade onto the ice. Now, I've got to capture it now, first. The moment it touches my tongue, I feel my taste buds come alive and the liquid dances on my tongue.
To make sure he's never caught short, his cola is stowed away in the most unlikely of places.
I've got a couple hidden underneath the altar at church. I've got 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 liters hidden inside the crematory. I might use it on ice. I might use it neat, but I also use it to cook with. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love doing gammon. Boil it in a pot of cola for about an hour and a half, and then bake it in the oven after you've done that and cover it with treacle. Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. Chin chin.
But the bubble has burst on his bubbly brew, and Father Bill thinks it's time to cut down.
I know it'll be healthier for me. It'll be better for me later in life, and it'll certainly be nicer for me the way my clothes fit. But I know that this can shorten my life. So I want to be around to see my grandchildren, and I think that's the greatest driving force.
His teenage daughter shares his concerns.
My dad's been drinking Coca-Cola for as long as I can remember. I love my dad. I want him to be around as long as possible. So it'd be a good idea for him to give up his Coca-Cola habit.
I don't want it to be a cold turkey event. I want it to be something that I can adapt my mindset to and say, I choose something else.
Help is on the way. Over the course of 6 weeks, Father Bill will undergo treatment to help him break free of his addictive behaviour, under the guidance of clinical psychologist Henk van Bilsen and dietitian Ursula Philpott. Henk begins the session by trying to gauge the extent of Father Bill's addiction.
So seeing it like this, does that create a trigger or a desire to drink it? And does anything happen with this?
You are going to let me consume that, aren't you?
No, the idea would be just to leave
really
it there.
Cool, you know.
Henk digs a little deeper to establish the root of Father Bill's problem.
It has been your friend for how many years?
My entire life.
Your entire life?
I mean, my first visions of cola consumption were of my mother putting cola in my bottle as a baby.
So it's been your entire life. This is a constant. So to say, I don't want it anymore, is not being true to yourself. So to accept that you want it, but that another part of your brain has realized that it's perhaps not the best friend to have, and perhaps to see a lot less of this friend.
Where I might use it as a reward rather than as a crutch in a way.
Yes, as a crutch.
But weaning himself off won't be easy. So Henk wants to motivate Father Bill by showing him just how much cola he's really drinking.
You've met my catering needs for the week. Oh, bless your socks.
So if you add it up, it's around 700 litres of Coke per year. 30% of that is sugar.
I'm sure.
Henk will be treating Father Bill by using cognitive behavioural therapy to confront and address his addiction. Although at first he's in denial about how serious his cola habit really is.
It's a nice donation.
That sounds a bit sarcastic.
I don't mean it that way. I really don't. But what I would like to see is just draw it down the middle and cut it in half, and then occasionally I say, I'll have one today.
I'll have one. I think that Father Bill wouldn't mind making the changes, but whether he really wants to make them, I'm not convinced of that yet.
Still to come on my Big Fat Diet Show, how the food industry's tapping into primeval instincts to develop foods.
The sugar, the fat were things that we needed, and the manufacturers have realised that, and they're essentially sort of exploiting a physiological weakness. We can't sort of resist these things because they've got it right.
Plus, Matt Dawson with his succulent Sunday best.
A normal portion of Sunday roast, 950 calories. I reckon I can do it for about 450.
No. Welcome back to my Big Fat Diet Show. We're 3 days away from the end of our 1,200 calorie a day diet, so we're back at the 100 calorie club for one big push as we head towards our goal, dropping a dress size. Earlier we found out we were the victims of a booze ban.
Well, what am I going to have as a treat?
But what many of us dieters forget is just how calorific the evil drink can be. It's packed with sugar.
Equivalent to 8 chocolate bars.
So to keep our taste buds tingling without a calorific overload, we've dropped into the 100 Calorie Club bar, where the drinks are free.
Oh, cocktails.
Alcohol-free.
Right! Given the devastation of the fact that we are not going to be drinking any alcohol for the next few days, we have some low-calorie alternatives.
It's time for some experimentation. But when it comes to calories, how low will we go?
Apple, mint and green tea cooler, 24 calories a glass.
I actually quite like that.
Do you? It's refreshing.
Oh, you're telling big fat fibs. That it's like... oh, it tastes like nettles.
So, only Debs went for that one. Next, the cranberry refresher. Cranberry juice, water and a squeeze of lime for just 60 calories.
I like cranberry.
Oh, now that's nice. Pass it down to Bev.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a replacement for red wine, Bev?
Oh. Actually, I like that. I do like cranberry.
At 50 cals, will we worship at the Shirley Temple? Made with ginger ale and a dash of blackcurrant cordial.
Oh, I like that.
That is quite refreshing.
It's lovely. It's spicy.
And the final non-alco cocktail is tomato juice with all the trimmings.
This is me, virgin.
Virgin Debbie?
60 calories.
I love that.
Do you? That's nice.
No, I could do that.
Yeah.
Would you have some Worcester sauce in there?
Yeah, Worcester sauce.
OK, girls, so we've only got a few more days to go. Are we going to be drinking any of these instead when we go to our parties?
I'd be quite happy with that.
Job done.
So the next time any of us want to hit the bottle, we still can, but by cutting the calories with our saintly substitutes.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers. Gin.
Gin.
Oh, I like this one.
Over the past 2 weeks, I've been revealing exactly how the food industry helps us fatten up. So far, I've looked at the pitfalls of supermarkets' buy one, get one free deals.
I only meant to go in for a sandwich, actually. Come out with about £25.
And how diet foods aren't the easy, quick-fix diet solutions you might think.
If you've taken all the fat out, you've got to leave something there that's going to make it taste good. That tends to be sugar.
Plus, we've revealed how manufacturers promote key product ingredients which convince us to buy fattening foods.
Fundamentally, these are high-fat, high sugar junk food products that we should be eating very little of.
We're a nation in love with snacking, and it's usually junk. Paprika! Food manufacturers say they merely provide products people want to buy. But do we just eat our favourite foods because we have no self-control? Or do manufacturers set out to make their snacks irresistible?
Listen to that. Nearly gone, the whole tube.
There is no doubt about it, Pringles get me going. And before I know it, the whole tube's gone. So, in a bid to find out exactly what makes Pringles so moreish for me, I'm meeting up with neuropsychologist Dr. David Lewis.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Hi, David.
He and his team work with manufacturers to examine the conscious and unconscious responses we have to their products. His pioneering studies can analyse brain activity, and by wiring me up to an EEG machine, Dr. Lewis can see how I react when I eat a range of different foods.
I'd like you just to sit still for 30 seconds with your eyes closed. This is going to give us some initial baseline reading. Just imagine you're lying perhaps on some lovely tropical beach. And now Sophie will give you a bit of banana to swallow and to savour. Thank you.
With each bite I take, the research team can see what's really going on in my brain and examine the responses that we're completely unaware of. From healthy foods to chocolate, and finally...
Oh, is that a Pringle?
It is.
My favourite. By analysing my brain activity, David can see which foods triggered the greatest responses, the healthy snacks or the junk.
Here we have the various products which you ate. If we look at the healthy food, well, they didn't make you particularly relaxed. But look here, look at the Snickers bar and look at the Pringles, the crisps. Very, very high level of relaxation.
No wonder once I pop, I just can't stop. The Pringles have topped the chart as my ultimate comfort food.
Are we saying that healthy food can never compete with junk food?
That's pretty much it, yes.
Seriously?
They're very moreish, as one says. So you have one, then you have another, and maybe a little bit later on you have a third. And of course, this is what the manufacturers want you to do. They want you to buy and consume as much of their product as possible.
Junk food snacks aren't created by chefs, but by technicians in laboratories. Richard Marshall is a food scientist who specialises in analysing foods and the effects the ingredients have on our taste buds. So what's really in a Pringle?
Well, these are the basic ingredients of a Pringle. Maltodextrin.
Oh, but it's sweet.
Some emulsifier.
Oh, yeah. That's like candle wax.
Dried potato.
Ooh.
We've got some vegetable oil. We've then got flour. Then finally, we've got salt.
That's a Pringle.
Well, it would be if you mixed it together.
Each crisp is less than 50% potato. So what gives Pringles their pulling power?
What are the buttons that are being pressed in terms of this kind of food that appeal to us?
The saltiness. We need salt, and we're programmed to need salt. There's enough salt in there to really attract us, to really make it desirable food. We also have fat receptors as well. So when you put fat into your mouth, you stimulate those receptors, and your body says, this is a desirable food.
Procter & Gamble, who manufacture Pringles, deny that any ingredients are included or manipulated to encourage excessive snacking. But Richard believes that our attraction to these foods is part of our genetic makeup.
I mean, it goes back into our sort of evolution, because we were hunter-gatherers, needed lots of energy all the time, and so all those things, the sugar, the fat, were things that we needed. And the manufacturers have realised that, and they're essentially sort of exploiting a physiological weakness. We can't sort of resist these things because they've got it right, you know, and so we just eat them and eat them and eat them.
So you want... Oh, you are a bad, bad man.
Dieting doesn't have to be about what you can't have. It's about relishing what you can have. And rugby legend turned champ of the chopping board, Matt Dawson, is here to show us how. We all all love a good roast on a Sunday, so Matt's going to give it to us flavour-filled and low-cal.
It's what we all dream about at the weekend. A Sunday roast.
Yes! Come on!
Yeah, Lizzie, you like your gravy, don't you?
I love it. Really thick and gloopy and, oh.
Yes, gravy as well. A normal portion of Sunday roast, 950 calories.
No! Horror!
I reckon I can do it for about 450.
No. Go.
No.
Is it going to taste as good, Dawson?
What do you think? We've got a top rump of beef.
OK.
And then I've got some new potatoes and parsnips that I'm going to roast.
Yeah.
And loads of veg. I've got sweet potato, butternut squash, and some broccoli. First things first, let's get the root vegetables in because they're going to take longer. Girls like parsnips?
Yeah.
Yeah, we like parsnips. Look at this little beauty. Olive oil in a spray.
Thus reducing your calories.
6 of these, 6 sprays, about a teaspoon.
Matt's roasties weigh in at only 83 calories a portion. Spraying on a little olive oil is much better than piling on the goose fat or lard, so these have half the calories of traditional roast spuds.
These are going to go in 200 degrees, probably about 45 minutes, just to keep your eye on it, and that's it. You just leave them. OK, now the meat. There's a little bit of a coating, a seasoned coating that I like to put in mustard. Sprinkle it over the top. Half a teaspoon of salt, some pepper. OK, so I'm going to sear this meat in a teaspoon of groundnut oil.
Groundnut oil is the lowest calorie cooking oil.
Sear the meat so the juices try and stay within the joint. I mean, you're talking seconds. You just want that colour. You see the brown colour that you're getting on top of it? OK, really good tip. Before I put the meat in the actual baking tray, I'm going to lay down some chopped sweet potato and acts as a trivet. Rest the meat on top of the sweet potato, and then the meat is not cooking in its own fat.
That's a good tip.
Choose a cut of beef with as little fat as possible and add flavour with seasoning, not fatty calories. If you can, ask your butcher to trim it before you take it home.
Let's get this in the oven. It's going to take about half an hour.
Is that all?
Half an hour, then we'll rest it for about 10 minutes.
OK, wow.
OK, onto our veg. We're going to boil the sweet potato and butternut squash. Yeah. It won't take very long. It's small chunks, so it's only probably going to take 8-10 minutes. In the meantime, we'll get onto the gravy.
Dawson's special juice, Lizzie.
Yay. Yes, Lizzie's happy, Gail's happy, everyone's happy. Right, good. We've got mushrooms, we've got some chopped garlic, chopped onion, all pretty done. And it's going to be in the pan with just a touch of the stock, a little bit of thyme in there as well. That's going to reduce down to a nice, strong, pungent flavour.
Oh! In a regular roast, the gravy alone is a hefty 106 calories. By packing his gravy with tons of flavour to compensate for cutting out the meat juices and using corn flour rather than gravy granules to thicken, Matt's steaming stuff tickles the taste buds at just 34 calories.
Now, Lizzie, this is probably quite new to you, making gravy this way. How do you do yours?
With loads of granules.
Which are full of salt, full of preservatives.
Yeah.
Have you checked the tin for the calories?
I don't want to. Thanks. Ignorance is bliss.
There's something wrong about you, honestly.
You want me to mash?
You fancy that?
Come on, then.
Go on, get the muscles out.
Get them mashing arms. You watch that. Look at the power in that right arm.
Gravy goes into a sieve. See it all come through, all the good stuff coming through there. You can see that?
That's lovely.
Yeah?
I'm just going to try this mash, Matt, just for taste.
That was one heck of a mouthful for taste. Right, come on. Budge up, budge up, budge up, budge up.
God, he's like a domestic goddess, isn't he?
Served up with the mash and steamed broccoli, Matt's flavour-filled roast beef dinner comes in at 464 calories, nearly 500 less than a regular roast would be. Sunday is Slim Day.
You gonna have a go?
Yeah.
Lizzie, gravy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for showing me the light.
If you want to try any of Matt's recipes, head to channel4.com/food. With the final weigh-in just 3 days away, me and the girls are back for one last shop before we hit the scales. Alcohol's been banned, so we're all trying to be extra good.
Oh, I know what I'm going to try. I'm going to try pomegranate.
Josie, what have you been having eggs with? What can I do with an egg?
Turn it into an omelette.
All right, what, with some peppers or something?
Yeah.
We just need to keep focused on our new healthy mindset when it comes to shopping for supplies.
Load up with the veggies, girls, because we want to be getting into those dresses.
Yeah.
OK, so it's one final hurdle, and we're there.
Can you pass me some carrots, please?
You want some carrots?
Yes, please.
In a few days, we face the scales for the last time, with everything crossed to drop a dress size and slip into our glam gowns. This is the final fling on the 1,200 calorie limit. We'll find out how we all get on later in the show. Still to come on my Big Fat Diet Show. More helps on the way for Father Bill, but will the shock of what cola's doing to his health finally motivate him to kick his habit?
If you look at your daily intake of around 2 litres of fizzy drinks, it could potentially add up to around an extra 6 stone weight gain a year.
I meet the whistleblower who believes some junk food is engineered to make us fat and get us hooked.
The food industry has designed foods to literally hijack our brain and keep on getting us to come back for more.
And Josie's worried she'll have a wardrobe malfunction.
Can you imagine if that dress doesn't fit me tomorrow? I am so worried. I know I'm not going to sleep tonight. I am so worried about that, you know.
My dieting divas are 2 days away from our final weigh-in. We're on a 2-week quest to drop a dress size, sticking to 1,200 calories a day. But it's not all about calorie counting. We've been re-educating ourselves to eat more healthily. It's Sunday dinner at Bev's, and she's invited Lizzie and Pam round to try Matt Dawson's skinny roast.
You know what? It's the gravy I'm looking forward to. That gravy is delicious. It was worth waiting for. This is lovely, Beverly.
And with the last weigh-in looming, gone are the days when these 3 ladies would pile their plates up.
That is enough. I'm not hungry. It's a decent dinner to have, isn't it?
And also it's nice to sit here and feel, like, not guilty.
Yeah.
Because I always think, after a Yorkshire and all that kind of trimmings, I think, oh, God.
Do I want pudding? I don't think I do.
And the girls can feel even more chuffed, as tonight was a sober affair thanks to the booze ban. Something Bev's still getting used to.
I think I could have just killed a nice glass of red with my dinner, but I'm over that now.
As we've seen, 1,200 calories can add up to a lot more than a mouthful. In fact, that's enough for some delicious meals. For breakfast, have some muesli with a sprinkling of fruit. Lunch, a healthy and delicious prawn and avocado salad. And a filling quick Chilean rice for dinner. Plus a natural low-fat yoghurt for dessert. All this for just 1,200 calories. For information on the diet and to find out whether it's suitable for you, head to channel4.com/food. Father Bill is a missionary with a mission. He's been hooked on cola for years and consumes up to 2 litres of the sweet nectar every single day. He's now on a 6-week programme to give up his precious cola, and a trip to his local gives him a chance to put his plan into practice.
May I have a bottle of cola with ice, please? Yes.
Clinical psychologist Henk van Bilsen has instructed Father Bill to interrupt his habitual drinking by sipping natural juice and water before every sip of cola.
It's a small strategy to bring about changes in the addictive behaviour without really changing it too much.
The taste in my mouth is different, so it robs me of the satisfaction that I get from the cola.
This small step is already having a big impact on Father Bill's habit.
I see the benefits in it, and in fact, I would guess over the course of the weekend, I've reduced the cola consumption by about 50%.
To keep him heading in the right direction, Father Bill has come to see dietitian Ursula Philpott so she can show him just how dangerous his excessive cola consumption could be.
One of the problems day to day with having a lot of sugary drinks is that they pick you up energy-wise. They'll give you a boost because they contain a lot of sugar and a lot of caffeine. The problem is that just a short time after drinking them, your mood will drop again because the caffeine will crash and your blood sugars will crash. So you tend to get this roller coaster effect over the day.
And Ursula's got some stark facts about why Father Bill's health is at risk if he continues to consume cola in such vast quantities.
If we take 1 bottle of cola, then it's around 1/3 sugar.
That's a good representation of my kidney.
And quite frankly, it's enough to put us all off reaching for that cold can.
If you look at your daily intake of around 2 litres of fizzy drinks, then that contributes a whopping 800 calories a day, which is actually 1/3 of your daily intake of calories just from sugar. If you add that up over a year and turn that into stones and pounds in terms of weight gain, it could potentially add up to around an extra 6 stone weight gain a year.
Shocked by Ursula's revelation, Father Bill is determined.
If I start with the commitment that I am achieving this and I'm going to do it, I'm proud of what I've done so far.
I've been looking into how the food industry helps fatten us up. And tonight I've seen how our bodies are pre-programmed to react to sugar, fat and salt, making a lot of junk food irresistible. Dr. David Kessler is the former head of the Food and Drug Administration in the US. He was the first man to take on the tobacco companies, and now he's set his sights on the food industry.
Back 30, 40 years, what was the most salient stimuli for many people? It was tobacco. It was cigarettes. That hijacked our brains. Today, what's the most salient stimuli for millions of people? It's food. That's hijacking our brains. We now know that fat and sugar can stimulate the brain's neural circuitry like amphetamine and cocaine.
Kessler believes that food manufacturers are deliberately manipulating ingredients to trigger a brain high, a rush that he calls the bliss point.
The food industry has optimized food to achieve the maximal bliss point. They've constructed food to get us to keep on eating. It's just this momentary hit. It's this momentary rush, and then you try to chase it again. We always knew that drugs can hijack our brains. Now we know that fat, sugar, and salt, when put together in the right combinations, can do the same.
In a sense, is it not our fault that we're getting fat?
For the first time, we can tell people it's not their fault. We've never explained that to people. But just because it's not your fault doesn't mean you shouldn't take steps to protect yourself. If you can change your relationship with food in the long term, that's the new type of learning that's so essential to maintaining a healthy weight.
Opening our eyes to the power of the multi-million-pound food industry is a crucial step for taking control of our diets and what we're eating.
If there's one thing I've learned, temptation is everywhere, and we're not even necessarily aware of how we're being manipulated. But we don't have to fall prey to the food industry. At the end of the day, we can make the choice not to get fat.
Our 100-calorie club continues to pull in the punters, curious to see just what you get when your food is packed into handy 100-calorie portions.
For dinner, I have pasta. I'm going to have, a small bowl full? I've got 2, 4, 6 pieces of pasta there. That's a bit measly. I think I'd be a bit disappointed.
I didn't think that the Mars bar you would be able to have that much of a Mars bar.
It may be the most important meal of the day, but behind some innocent-looking breakfast lurks a calorific catastrophe. But just how easy is it to tell?
Hazel, breakfast. How'd you feel about it?
Hungry.
Is it your favourite meal of the day? Are you into it?
Yeah. Good breakfast is important to me.
Okay.
Would you know the calories of these 5 popular breakfasts? We want our lucky punter to rank them according to their calorific value. There's a Sainsbury's muesli muffin, a Starbucks cinnamon swirl, a bacon and egg McMuffin, a yoghurt and fruit compote from Eat, and a good old bacon butty.
In at number 5, so the highest calorie food, what would you go for?
Muffin. Definitely the muffin.
OK, so Hazel, second highest calorie food, please.
I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I think it's...
It's cinnamon swirl.
Yeah, lots of sugar, lots of fat.
Number 3, what would you go for out of what's left?
The muffin. I think that's fairly fatty.
The second lowest in calories, what would you go for?
This is a tough one, actually, because I think one's probably a bit of a decoy. I'm going to go for this. That's quite fatty.
OK, so that leaves you with the lowest calorie food as the homemade bacon sandwich.
Definitely. And my favourite.
OK. Is anybody worried by Hazel's choices?
I think the yoghurt will have more than that.
You think the yoghurt's probably a little bit higher up in the...
I doubt it's low-fat yoghurt.
OK, we'll do a bit of a swap then.
Oh, she's influenced. Influenced by opinion. OK, I can reveal the results. You are all right in that the lowest calorie food is the homemade bacon sandwich.
The humble bacon sarnie. Turns out it's not the worst breakfast you could have, with just 254 calories.
Second in, you're absolutely right, with the McDonald's egg and bacon McMuffin.
Wait a minute! At 340 calories, this isn't the top of the chart.
In at number 3, shockingly, you're absolutely right, with the Eat Yoghurt and Fruit Compote.
It's the granola, the oats. They're very sugary, aren't they?
Yoghurt and fruit compote may sound healthy, but it's heavy on the calories, piling in at 366.
You, once again, have got number 4 right, which is the Starbucks Cinnamon Swirl.
On the dietary charge sheet, the cinnamon swirl looks innocent, but 434 calories says guilty as charged.
This is a woman that knows her breakfast and likes her breakfast. Because at number 5, the most calorific food is the Sainsbury's muesli muffin.
Yeah,
you knew?
Yeah, I avoid them like the plague.
Yep, surprisingly, that's right. The breakfast with the highest calorific value is the muesli muffin with a whopping 447.
Hazel, I'm absolutely stunned.
So they might suck you in with healthy-sounding ingredients like muesli, but watch out, dieters, for those hidden extra calories. This 1,200 calorie a day diet is designed to be followed for just 2 weeks. But along the way, we're picking up healthy eating habits, and we're all learning that exercise helps banish the bulge by burning extra calories. With the alcohol exiled, my divas are finding an alternative to their fun-filled nights on the booze.
No alcohol in sight, and we're bowling.
While somebody is actually bowling, the rest have got to pick up and exercise.
With Debbie under the weather and Bev looking after her daughter, it's just 4 birds battling the balls and the ban on booze.
Tonight, I am not missing my Bacardi at all. Converted!
And all this healthy living is affecting more than just the waistlines.
Oh, well done, Lizzie! You know, when you eat rubbish, you feel rubbish. And that's what I've learned over this 2 weeks. When you don't eat the rubbish, you don't feel so bad.
With 1 day to go till the final weigh-in, will all this effort show on the scales?
I've got to get into that dress. Can you imagine if that dress doesn't fit me tomorrow? I am so worried. I know I'm not going to sleep tonight. I am so worried about that, you know.
Still to come on my Big Fat Diet Show. Has Father Bill beaten the bottle?
Any soft drinks at all? May I please have...
And it's time for the final weigh-in. Will we all have dropped that dress size in just 2 weeks?
God, I'm so nervous for the first time ever.
6 weeks ago, Father Bill was drinking 2 litres of cola a day.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was a ritualistic event for him. The process of pouring his cola was just as important as consuming it.
Chin chin.
But with help from psychologist Henk van Bilsen and dietitian Ursula Philpott,
could potentially add up to around an extra 6 stone weight gain a year.
Father Bill is a transformed man.
I have reduced my cola consumption by 98%.
He never thought it was possible, but this is a really huge reduction, and it's already had a dramatic effect on his weight.
I've lost over a stone, and I'm really pleased about that, which might be a good indicator for me to lose some more weight.
It's a fantastic result for Father Bill, but will he be tempted to reward himself on a celebratory lunch out with his daughter?
Do you want to any wine with your main courses at all? No wine, thank you. Any soft drinks at all?
I'm fine with water.
May I please have a sparkling water?
Wow.
So, are you proud of me?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah.
Father Bill's kicked the cola in favour of a much purer liquid refreshment, a good old glass of water.
It just happened so beautifully. And part of it was the time in my life, part of it was the simplistic fashion that Mr. Van Bilsen gave to me as how to do it. Part of it was my life determination, my age, my weight. I'm proud to say I had a challenge I needed to face head on, and I've done it.
We're just minutes away from the final weigh-in. We've had 14 days of cutting back. Has it all been worth it?
2 weeks ago, we were all piling on the pounds.
Pizza, chips, noodles and burger. All in 24 hours.
And it was the frock horror of failing to get into these glamorous gowns.
She's got a bottom in her bag.
That inspired us to drop a dress size. But it wasn't easy. Oh, no. Pie lover Lizzie put on weight at the first weigh-in.
What? I've put on £2. You have...
So ditched the pastry in favour of a whole new attitude.
It's changed what I think about how much I put in my mouth.
Cake connoisseur Josie.
I think if I just have a little bit at a time, it's not going to matter.
Reluctantly parted with the patisseries.
It's carrot and hummus, not carrot cake.
Bev chucked her greatly loved cheese.
I do like cheese, and I could have that as a whole meal.
In favour of grating the salads to become the current super slimmer of the team.
That is incredible.
Cream and carb consumer Pam.
I eat pasta at least 4 times a week because it's easy. It's sort of like it fills you up quite quickly.
Learned the virtues of healthy home cooking.
I could never imagine that I'd actually be able to eat stir fry.
But good time girl Gail paid for partying.
I've put on £1.
So stepped up the exercise to budge the bulge.
118 calories.
Lastly, curry queen Debbie.
I just love curries. They're so tasty.
Caused chaos in the kitchen. But has finally vetoed those vindaloos.
I've noticed my complexion's a lot brighter. Probably it's because I'm not eating all the convenience foods. My Indian restaurant won't be pleased, mind you. And I'm feeling...
Now the diet is done, but have we done enough? It's time for the very final weigh-in. Fuzzed up Pam. 2 weeks ago she weighed 10 stone 11 pounds. So far she's lost 5 pounds, so how about today?
I'm 10 stone 4.
Another 2 off gives a total loss for Pam of 7 pounds.
Past 18 months, 2 years, I've never been able to shift this amount of weight in such a short amount of time without really suffering, and I haven't suffered.
Next up, it's Bev, whose starting weight was 11 stone and 10 pounds, and so far has lost a terrific 10 pounds. Two more pounds down. That's a whopping weight loss of 12 pounds in 2 weeks.
You dieting diva, you. Yeah.
I would have been grateful with half a stone, but I've sort of gone on to the 11 again, and hopefully I'll stay that way.
Next, it's me. 14 days ago, I weighed in at 9 stone and 12 pounds, and I've dropped 4 pounds so far.
Oh, yes!
Another one off gives me a 2-week total of 5 pounds.
I'm thrilled.
Little Gail punched into the diet club at 9 stone 8. So far, she shed 5 pounds. Well done, Gail. 3 dropped this time, bringing her weight wastage to 8 pounds in total.
I'm so thrilled. Just got to keep it off now.
Our Debbie began the diet at 12 stone 8 pounds, and so far has lost 7 pounds. Can she do it again?
God, I'm so nervous. No, I put on a pound.
No, you haven't.
I was 12 stone 1. I've put on a pound.
Is that right? A disappointing finish, but overall she has managed to shift almost half a stone.
We need to see whether or not you're going to slip into that dress, and I think you will.
Yeah.
And that was the point of
Yes, absolutely.
Next up, it's our youngest diva, Lizzie, who began the diet at 13 stone and 4 pounds. She's lost a superb 7 pounds so far, but what about today? 2 off for Lizzie, making her 2-week total loss 9 pounds.
So made up because I haven't been that weight for forever.
Finally, it's Josie. A fortnight ago, she weighed 10 stone 2. She's lost 3 so far. Will she end on a high note? That total of 6 pounds lost takes serial dieter Josie to her lightest weight in over 20 years. And she couldn't be happier.
Oh, I just feel relieved now. And it's true what they say. That feels so good.
Yeah.
It's better than any cupcake, any bar of chocolate, and any drink.
Now all we've got to do is get into our dresses.
Yes.
Yay! Shall we, girls? Are you ready?
Yes.
Come on, let's go.
As a group, we've shed a total of 3 stone 11 pounds over the past 2 weeks. But have we done enough to achieve our ultimate aim, fitting into our dresses of destiny? It's the moment of truth.
Oh, that's easy.
Go on, Paul.
Oh, that was a struggle the last time. That's good.
1 down, 6 to go.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Pamster, shall I do the honours?
I'm really
gorgeous.
pleased with that, really pleased. Oh, no,
Oh, my God, look, it's easy.
So the 2 weeks worth it?
Oh, gosh, definitely. If it's
yes!
So easy.
You're really skinny.
Say that again.
Oh, Debbie, look how easy that
Debbie,
is.
that's too big for you now. Are you pleased? Come
Yeah, over the moon. Over the moon.
Oh,
Lizzie.
It's
lovely.
That's lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, look at
Oh,
lovely.
I've not seen you looking like that for a very long time. You look. Oh, I'm going to fill up. Do you know what?
It's all been worth it.
Yeah. Certainly has.
What a result! We've shown you can kickstart your New Year's diet by dropping a dress size in just 2 weeks. It's time to celebrate with 100 calories worth of champagne, of course.
A toast to us all. This is a job really well done. We've all dropped a dress size, and genuinely, I'm incredibly proud of you all. Well done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
For a select